We only have a few minutes, so try to be brief.
Okay. I will do absolutely anything you say.
Ah, David Byrne, the face of Talking Heads. A quirky band, even during their heyday, Talking Heads were formed by a group of art students during the New York punk scene of the 1970s.
Did you ever think of that big suit? I like symmetry and geometric shapes. I wanted my head to appear smaller, and the easiest way to do that was to make my body bigger. It's like 60 Minutes on acid.
Through experimenting, they would implement other genres of music to their sound, such as new wave, art rock, funk, and even world music.
I got a movie in my head. You want to see it?
No, but do you have anything to eat?
And these series of mock interviews I'm showing seems like a proto-Adult Swim show was made for the band's concert movie Stop Making Sense. This movie made $5.1 million at the box office against a $1.2 million budget, and would be considered one of the best concert films of all time. The purpose of Stop Making Sense was to promote their fourth album, Speaking in Tongues, and this album would go on to both critical acclaim and be certified platinum by the RIAA. As well as they would secure a top 10 hit with Burning Down the House. Getting positive reception was nothing new to Talking Heads. Their previous 3 albums were absolute darlings in their own right, and Burning Down the House was their second hit, as their last top 40 charter was Take Me to the River. But their first hit was a cover to an Al Green song, and their other 3 albums were modest hits at most. This was Talking Heads at their peak. This is what got them to the mainstream. Now, this video isn't focused on this point in the career, but rather the journey to this peak. Basically, how did we get here? Off their fourth album, 1980's Remain in Light, Once in a Lifetime is considered to be the band's signature tune. While not a commercial success upon its release as a single in 1981, peaking at 103 on the US Bubbling Unders charts, it found an audience through a new cable channel that premiered months later.
Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll.
Not only was this one of the most popular music videos during the early days of MTV, it was one of the first videos shown on the channel. The 64th to be exact. I would say besides Video Killed the Radio Star, this was the first iconic music video shown on the channel. And even then, the Buggles hit was mostly known for being MTV's first video. Once in a Lifetime, meanwhile, has managed, as both song and video, to have non-stop popularity, being considered one of the best rock songs of the 80s and one of the best music videos of all time. It has even been used for pop culture, being referenced on TV shows like The Muppets.
Letting the days go by, let the water hold me down, letting the days go by, water flowing underground.
The Simpsons.
You may ask yourself,
how do I work this?
and you may ask yourself,
Where is that large automobile?
Billy and Mandy.
This is not my beautiful house. This is not my beautiful wife.
Same as it ever was, 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 same as it ever was.
And also this movie, starring Tom Hanks in 2016, I have never knew about until looking up references to this song.
You may find yourself living in your garden shack, and you may find yourself not at home in your home. Let the water hold me down. Water flowing underground.
And even 5 years of remaking this video, I still haven't watched.
Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
Yeah, this is an odd way to open a movie. Even on the internet, the video has achieved meme status. Whether it can be through fan art, adding them into other memes, making GIFs, being referenced in web shows such as Ina, even being recreated shot for shot through Source Filmmaker with the G-Man in Half-Life. This video has achieved legendary status in its over 40 years of life. So what happens in this video? Basically, it's David Byrne in a suit dancing about in front of a green screen. Honestly, summarizing this video makes it sound so simple, but this is what happens in the video. The lead singer is dancing and singing to his song, interspersed with some clips of other cultures that Byrne imitates. It's just singing and sweating about. Is that all there is? Is that what people love about this video?
And you may ask yourself, well...
Yes, and we need to talk about the history behind it. So, to celebrate 5 years of music video time, I am going back to talking about one of my all-time favorite music videos, and rectifying a truly bad first impression. So it is once again music video time, and we are revisiting Talking Heads' Once in a Lifetime. Whenever you see Once in a Lifetime's video get brought up, the talk is primarily on the bizarre nature of the video, basically watching someone doing seemingly sporadic movements in front of a camera. One particular quote from Time magazine for their list of best music videos does seem to encapsulate a real simplicity about this video. In the video, the singer dances about like a demented marionette, jerking his arms and crouching into a ball, then swimming through a fake blue sea. He's joined by a chorus of birds in the background who mimic him. That does seem to be the appeal of the bizarre nature of this video. You are watching someone dance in a seemingly improvised manner that has no real coherent reasoning, all the while looking to have been shot so cheaply. Byrne's glasses seem to have cost more than the video's budget. So how did this all come together? Well, let's first talk about the song itself and how it got made. During the Remain in Light sessions, the songs are made in an unorthodox manner. Usually the process goes is you write the lyrics, write the arrangement, then go to the recording booth. Boom, song made. What they did instead was take part in jam sessions, playing beats and sounds and picking the best of the bunch and having them be played on repetition. Byrne himself compared the process to modern looping and sampling. Notably, the bass line, which is essentially the backbone of the song, was made due to the bassist Tina Weymouth hearing drummer Chris Frantz, who is also her husband, yell something to her, to which she played it on her bass. This style of music making was just throwing things against the wall and seeing what would stick. Originally, producer Brian Eno was not into the track and it was almost abandoned, but David Byrne had faith in it and managed to find the perfect lyrics to this for their production. Inspired by the call and response style of American Evangelists on the radio, Byrne produced a half-spoken, half-sung vocal performance.
It wasn't one of Brian Eno's favorite tracks that we were working on, and there was a motion to just abandon this one. But I thought, there's something about this. I'm sure I can write words to it that it's going to make this work and pull it together.
And thus was born a song about living in a shotgun shack and letting water hold you down. When Remain in Light was released in 1980, Once in a Lifetime was not released as a single for promotion. Instead, the first single was Cross-Eyed and Painless, and that would have the honor of having it be their first music video.
Lost my shape. Trying to act casual.
Frankly, it probably made sense at the time. Once in a Lifetime does not come off as a song that would be successful as a single, but personally I'm not entirely sure if Cross-Eyed and Painless was the better option. In the video, meanwhile, I don't know what's happening. The members of Talking Heads made it clear they did not want to be in the video. As well, Byrne told the director to disregard any story they could have gotten from the lyrics and do their own interpretation. And boy did they. What was done instead was the dancers had their say in what the choreography was for the video. And the final output is fine, as the dancing is well done, but it's rather unfocused. You watch random scenes of dancing in a white room, and then occasionally special effects be thrown here and there. I know it's telling a story, I just don't know what it is. It's just an odd experiment that I don't think holds up well. Another issue I have with the video is how long it is. The original song clocks at 4 minutes 48 seconds. The music video, meanwhile, is at 5 minutes 37 seconds. A near minute more and you have a video that just overstays its welcome. At least we get to see a moonwalk performed before Michael Jackson. Cross-Eyed and Painless performed decently on the charts, peaking at number 20 on the US dance charts. But what mattered was that Byrne was impressed by what the director did and asked to have her co-direct the next video for him. And sure enough, the next video would be Once in a Lifetime, the second single off their album in 1981. 4 months after Remain in Light's release.
And you may say to yourself, my God!
Now, to talk about the making of Once in a Lifetime's music video, we first have to talk about the co-director of the video along with Byrne, Tony Basil. Now, Tony Basil is mostly known for her 1982 #1 hit, Hey Mickey, but her main occupation is rather appropriate for the filming of the video. Basil is a choreographer, having been in the business since the 1960s, appearing in movies for Elvis Presley and the Monkees.
Next, a brief but memorable moment in Viva Las Vegas.
She can do the dog all night long.
You're the girl in the red dress. You were also the assistant choreographer in the film.
I remember seeing her in Village of the Giants as well. And even now, she still has her hand in creating dance moves for movies released recently.
Quentin Tarantino hired her to choreograph his Oscar-nominated film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
So with a well-established choreographer involved with these videos, that should mean that the dancing in the video was not all improvised and was well thought out and calculated. And while that is the case, it wasn't necessarily because of Basil. Just a pinch of Basil helped here. As she put it, David kind of choreographed himself. I set up the camera, put him in front of it, and asked him to absorb those ideas. Then I left the room so he could be alone with himself. I came back, looked at the videotape, and we chose physical moves that worked with the music. I just helped to stylize his moves a little. Even with the quote of her giving the props to David, Basil made sure Byrne's movements were refined.
Look where my hand was.
Be sharp, not lazy. And watching the video, there is a lot of preciseness seen in the execution of the moves he makes. It's all fine-tuned and meticulous. She even used an old-fashioned zoom lens to emphasize his jerky movements. I can't help but praise Toni Basil on her keen eye on choreography. How Byrne came up with his dances throughout was done by doing some research. Both he and Basil looked through archive footage of preachers, evangelists, people in trances, African tribes, Japanese religious sects, etc. One person I've seen get cited as an inspiration was evangelist Ernest Angley, who was known for his sermons and preaching since the 1950s, before his death in 2021 at the age of 99. And watching his body movements in some of his sermons, you can definitely see the influence they had on some of the moves in Once in a Lifetime. Other things about the production is that there was basically no budget to this video. It was shot as low-tech as they could while making it presentable to be seen on television. And you can definitely see that from the white setting and the use of green screening to have multiple Byrnes to be seen in the background. It's just David with nothing else. Ergo, it's cheap, but it has a memorable charm to it that makes it its own thing. But come to think of it, Cross-Eyed and Painless and later Hey Mickey are all shot in a white background. Were they all shot in the same setting? Who knows? Honestly, that seems to be about it about the making of the music video. It's a rather basic production for a rather basic music video, though there has to be more about this. So, let's start at the beginning. What is the song about?
What do the words of your songs mean to you? I mean, you don't write love songs, do you?
I try to write about small things. Paper, animals, a house.
Looking for meaning behind Once in a Lifetime seems to be an out there thing to do. You might as well be interpreting the ending to Taxi Driver. Despite the trivial need to, there has been critics that gave meaning to the song. Examples include consumerism, the greed of yuppies, even claims it's a song about having an existential crisis. Now, Byrne has rejected the claim the song is about yuppies and made it clear the song is about the unconscious.
We're largely unconscious. We operate half awake or on autopilot and end up whatever with a house and family and job and everything else, and we haven't really stopped to ask ourselves, how did I get here?
That explanation does give credence to the possibility that this song is about an existential crisis. Figuring out that you have been living your life on autopilot and not trying to figure out how that happened. So let's apply that to the video and say the video is about telling people they are living their life unconsciously.
Same as it ever was.
So how did this video do that? All we see is David Byrne dancing about to the audience. Well, let's think about the inspirations for the song and video. For both, American Evangelists were used as a basis for Byrne's dance style and manner of singing the song. So let's assume that Byrne is playing a preacher. He's wearing a suit like one. His vocal delivery is based and makes him sound like one as well.
What is that beautiful house? You may ask yourself.
And I guess you can argue that he is moving about as a preacher, albeit in an exaggerated manner. So moving like a preacher then. So what does a preacher do? Well, preach of course. In this case, preaching to people that they are unconscious. And the exaggerated mannerisms is showing people how they look in life. Mindless zombies walking around looking like a member of the Ministry of Silly Walks. It might be far-fetched, but there's an interesting quote made during the Stop Making Sense self-interview that relates to this idea.
It's like 60 minutes on acid.
No, not that one.
Music is very physical. and often the body understands it before the head.
The mindset Byrne has about music might have been used in making the video. There was so much focus on the dance that you could see the video being an interpretive dance. The fact that Byrne doesn't showcase much of a facial expression, his feelings be shown through the choreography. The means of seeing fear, confusion, exhaustion through the moves, all the while his face is stoic and emotionless. Granted, that seems to be a trademark for Byrne in general. But still, there are some oddities throughout the video that might need some explanation. Like, who is holding Byrne's head during the Same As It Ever Was bridge? What exactly is the water supposed to be? Where is that large automobile? And what I think is most unexplained is the ending to the video.
Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was.
At the end, you see Byrne sitting and not wearing his glasses or suit. In a way, he looks like he has everything figured out. He has composure and everything under control. He is nothing like the Byrne we see in the video, except he is. This is the same person. David Byrne is the preacher, and the other Byrne is what he really is like. He has figured out how to get out of the routine of doing the same things over and over and doing things unconsciously.
Wait a second. Can't you all see that we're in a rut here?
He is now telling people that this is happening to them too. Otherwise, they will have the water consume them and forever be stuck in the same routine until it's too late. But the dear preacher never tells them the solution, for he was never told himself and yet solved his dilemma. And so he is helping others become aware, but not helping them too much so they can receive their own independence. For this is what it's all about. For we are all living on autopilot and we must regain control of our lives, as our experience can only come once in a lifetime.
Am I right? Am I wrong?
Or this video could all be surface and they just wanted to make a video with weird but well choreographed dancing that ended up being quirky enough to amass an appeal 40 years strong. It's possible. Sometimes the curtains are just blue, as they say, and that is completely fine. Even if this video is just what it is, it's absolutely charming in what it goes for. There's a feeling of earnestness and effort in the making of this video, especially on a shoestring budget. And not to mention, the song is one of my all-time favorites.
And you may tell yourself, this is not my beautiful wife.
I've always had fond memories listening to this song as a child, hearing it in car rides and not being entirely sure what the singer was going on about. It's an incredible song to listen to. So whether or not I am right or wrong about there being some sort of hidden message to the video, what matters is that this is a very beloved and praised music video that does deserve every amount of accolades it has received over the years. So with that being said, I do want to end this video on one more thing about the song itself. Before the Remain in Light sessions began, there was a chance that Talking Heads were going to break up, or at least half the members leave. Tina Weymouth and Chris Frantz debated on leaving the group and doing their own thing as they thought Byrne was too controlling. It's easy to believe that, considering that this entire video I put the utmost focus on David Byrne than the other members of the group, mostly because David Byrne is just by himself in the video. Arguably, you can say Once in a Lifetime as a music video is a David Byrne video before it's a Talking Heads video. And while the drummer and the bassist did form the Tom Tom Club as a side project in 1981, they still remained members of Talking Heads. Yet when it came time to record an album, there was a realization that it was the singer that wrote the songs for all the previous sessions. A change in strategy had to be made. As Byrne put it, they were sacrificing their egos for mutual cooperation.
Then the dues have a power by themselves.
And thus the jam sessions and the unconventional ways of making their songs were implemented. With the album working out is nothing short of breathtaking. If anything, you can argue that Remain in Light was made during a period of an existential crisis for the group. Needing to adapt to a different way of producing their music was a necessity, least the possibility of the band's breakup. It does make it seem feasible that the creation of songs like Once in a Lifetime was made in response to this tension. I could also be looking way too into this again, but what matters is that this period helped the band on the course to not only becoming commercially successful, but also having a recognized spot as one of the greatest rock bands of all time. Thanks for your time. And I have to say, 5 years later, making these videos, really does show how much everything can just happen all of a sudden. Because this feels like a spur of a moment thing to think about how I just make videos talking about music videos. And I just want to say that I hope to do them more in the future, because doing this really does feel like a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Thanks for your time.